Hey everybody, Nerdy Transformed here again, and as you can see, I have some Halloween decorations. Well, there's Baby Groot who just kind of looks cool in the background. But anyway, today I am doing the Transformers Animated Deluxe Class Cybertron mode Ratchet. If you don't know Transformers Animated, Ratchet in this show was kind of like Cup from the G1 show. He was the old war veteran, always had some war story to talk about or something, always wise, but also kind of never smiled. Which, if you've seen why, if you've seen the show, he had like plenty of reason not to smile. He had a lot of bad experiences. But but this is not based on that version of Ratchet. This is based on the young Ratchet, the one from back when he was on Cybertron, right before the war started, or right at the beginning of the war, rather than years later after the war was over. Because of course in Transformers Animated, it kind of makes you assume it takes place after the G1, that the wars are over, the Decepticons were defeated, blah blah blah. So you can see he's a Cybertron-style ambulance, which is very strange looking. But of course it's Cybertron, and you can kind of let go. You can see he has a visor to kind of look through, you can kind of assume this is how he sees. He has little lights on the top, he has a nice silver Autobot symbol tampoed there, sorry. If you don't know what's animated, the Autobot symbols were silver, the Decepticon symbols were gold. No idea why, but it doesn't look bad. He's also got his headlights painted, which is actually really nice. Yellow and black to kind of help him stick out. And as you can see, he runs on 4 pieces of treads. Which, okay, Cybertronian, it kind of makes it look cooler. Plus, his limbs have to come from somewhere. From the top, you can see his black paint going all the way across for the little headlights thing. And this part here where you can kind of imply you can put something up here. So yeah, from the top and the front it looks pretty nice. Then we look at it from the side and ooh. Yeah, if you hold it like this, it actually looks really nice. The moment you move your thumb, we have that weird gap and it just... nothing to fill it because that's where the arms have to go when it transforms to robot mode, and it just looks odd. Plus, this piece here that makes the legs does not tab in. It certainly holds there, as you can see it's not going to flop out, but there's nothing actually holding it here besides friction. Which kind of stinks. And from the back, yeah, that's his crotch and butt just sitting right there, and you can clearly see his hips as well. Could use a little bit of improvement, and of course the weapons are actually just stored here, or weapons slash paramedic use, and they do kind of cover up the arms. So that does help quite a bit. And it's just kind of clipped on in there. If you want to see how it's done, It's kind of a weird peg because you kind of push it up here and you kind of pull it down and back, and it doesn't always work. The pegs are very weird, and it can be kind of hard to get them to stay on sometimes depending on how they're pegged in or slot in, however you want to call it. I do like he has this tampoed here on the side of it to kind of give it that emergency symbol look, like a heartbeat. And of course the treads look pretty nice here. It is broken up on the inside here because that's where his feet flip out, but you can see on all the treads they have like this little circle and this little detail like it's been put together, kind of implying that the treads move through the whole machine here. And this is some kind of gear that moves it. My only real complaint is that with the treads on the front, since in robot mode they're basically collapsed in, all you see is this part. The back of them are not painted, even though they do have the detailing for treads. And it's not too bad because you don't look into the insides, but from the front, you can see the bottom of the treads just aren't there. You might say that's to get the paint from being scraped up, and I guess you could say that, but there's wheels here, so there's no real reason not to paint at least the bottom to where you don't see that little red gap. Because otherwise you look at it from the front with the wheels on the ground, and yeah, you can see the little red gaps at the bottom. But, besides that and just the robot exposure, the vehicle's not too bad. My only question is, where did the patients go? Because let's look at somebody like First Aid here, who you can see has windows in the back and even doors sculpted on the back. Even if the doors are not painted, there are doors there. And you can say, well, okay, it's the back of the ambulance. They're all loaded up in the back. Where is it on Ratchet? It's not just the robot mode thing, it's just in general, I don't see anything where a patient could go. I guess you could say they're loaded up in the front, I guess, but I don't know, it's just really weird. Another thing is, you really wouldn't guess he's an ambulance at first, except for the little symbol on the side. That's real. The red and white in the symbol on the side is really the way it gives away that it's an ambulance. There's no sirens. I mean, he has the lights on the top, but he has no sirens, which is a bit weird. As far as size comparisons, here he is next to Lugnut. And let's see, oh yes. Here he is next to Blitzwing in tank mode. And yeah, Ratchet's actually kind of large for a Deluxe, since Blitzwing and Lugnut are both Voyagers. And we'll see more of that robot mode. Speaking of which, to transform him, it's pretty simple. The back treads are just pegged in right here. You just unpeg them, like that. And you just flip them down, or flip the hips down to make hips. The treads kind of come down his hinge and claps in, and you flip it around to give him his knees. Claps down and flip around. These parts of the treads, where they want the gap at the front, because the back parts of the tread flip out to make feet. You can see as they flip out, a piece actually comes out to form the heel, which is pretty nice. It's a pretty little automatic looking thing. It makes a good heel for him to stand on. Although he has all his stuff still in the back. Then, as I mentioned before, this piece comes down. Before you flip the treads in, you actually have to pull the front bumper out to give room for them. You're going to line up the treads. You can see on the inside the little mechanical circle, there's a peg hole that attaches this red bar to peg it all together so the legs don't move around. Flip this piece out, and when you do, you can actually push in the top to kind of collapse in onto the treads and lock all that together. For the arms, they're kind of interesting. You're going to pull these panels off to get a better look. Come up here, and the panels that have the little symbol on them will unpeg from the top. Then the arms, you can go ahead and just start flipping out. Well, at least at the elbows. Now this is kind of interesting. It's a little bit complicated, but I'll try to show the full thing. It comes out on this hinge. You turn it 90 degrees toward the arms on the outside part. And you do the same over here. I'll try to show it as slow as I can from the inside. So you can see you flip it out, turn it 90 degrees toward the arms are kind of on the outside. And then the whole back panel comes down, and when it does, it reveals where the head is. And if you got everything going right, it should be able to just slide right into those holes that we saw earlier. And that's where the arms go. It doesn't peg in or anything, but it does have a good amount of friction, so they're not coming out unless you're pulling on them. Flip these up, just because that's how it looked in the show, and just bring the neck joint forward for his head. And there you have the animated Cybertron mode, Ratchet. In his glorious, glorious robot mode. If the camera would stop syncing now. There. I should fix that. Good. Alright, let's go ahead and get the comparisons out of the way. Here he's next to the new Combiner Wars First Aid. And you might say, oh, look, this used to be 10, this is 15, or this was 12 and this is 15. They're getting smaller. But actually, Ratchet's quite large for a Deluxe. Like, let's see. Blur. Here he is, who's Armada or Cybertron. You can see, yeah, quite a bit larger than him, too, and he was on like 10. Voyager Slog, Age of Extinction. Yeah, he's actually head to head. He's about the same height as Slog. Or even if you compare him to some of the other animated figures. Like Lugnut. Now, Lugnut's a bit of an unfair comparison because you might say, wait a minute, why is the $20 Voyager shorter than the $10 Deluxe? Well, like I mentioned, because of how his transformation works, Ratchet's quite large. Not quite as big as Lockdown, but quite tall for a Deluxe. And for some reason with Lugnut and Bulkhead from animated, their Voyagers were really small, like Deluxe size small. Just really bulky, which was weird. Now for our Voyagers a bit more normal size, here he is next to Blitzwing. You see, yeah, not quite Voyager size, but definitely, because the normal Deluxe would be about here on Blitzwing. At about his, Decepticon symbol. While Ratchet's at about his, right at his neck. So yeah, you can see, not quite as large as Voyager, but definitely taller than what Deluxe normally would be. Oh, and, his feet flipped in a little. Sorry, that was my bad. But yeah, on to Ratchet himself. Well, he looks quite good in his robot mode. His chest is basically just his vehicle mode folded up, which is pretty common in animated. And the roof is now his back, which does give him a nice solid look. And unlike the original Deluxe of the Earth mode, where he kind of faked having his headlights and the things on the side, he actually does have his these are the actual pieces from the vehicle mode, as is shoulder blades, I guess you could say. And of course, his feet are the treads. As far as new details go, you got his shoulders here that are white with this nice black stripe. It doesn't go around to the back, but you don't really look at the back very much. You got this nice maroon. This is another thing, is Ratchet did have a similar thing to Grimlock, where in the show he's white and red. Here he's, I guess, a very light gray beige with kind of a maroon color. If you put him in the light, he does look a bit more like white and red, but looking him up close, yeah, he's kind of got the more of a maroon with grayish beige color. It's a bit weird, but it doesn't hurt. It just looks a bit strange. And then he has these skinny little legs. Skinny little legs. It just looks so odd with his big bulky tread feet. It doesn't look bad. It does kind of, it does, if you've seen anime, it does fit the style of how the robots usually looked. It just looks odd in toy form. And as I mentioned, if you've seen animated, this Ratchet is smiling. It's hard to see because it's just kind of sculpted into the blue part of his mouth. But if you can get it just right on the camera, you can see he actually does have a little sculpt of a smile. He's smiling. Well, in his original toy was not smiling. Not at all. Kind of like he was passing a stone. But yeah, this is the Ratchet before the war, which means he does not have a broken crest. On the original toy, his crest was broken to show that what he'd been through. But here he's got a nice full crest. And he is not fat. He's certainly barrel-chested, but he is not fat. He's kind of just big and wide. While the later Deluxe is kind of a bit more like, probably something more like that with a big round belly. Well, more like that, like coming all the way down the ear, he would have a big round belly. Well, this one looks like a soldier who, okay, maybe not the best physical fitness, but hey, big bulky soldier, barrel-chested, ready for action kind of thing. And of course, he was a medic. One cool thing is you will see this little hole here. If you don't know what this is, the original Deluxe had this too. What happened is, of course, in the show, they had an EMP generator. And that came with the figure Lockdown, because, of course, the episode where Lockdown first appeared, and he stole the EMP generator. And it came with the Lockdown toy just because it fit better with his car mode. What you could do is you could either attach it to the original Deluxe, or even this one can still have it. Even though I don't think we really see that on the show, I think we see it for one moment when he's with RC. But, yeah. So yeah, you can see, this is Ratchet, certainly, but this is the Ratchet from before the war. Before everything went to hell and his, mentally was not okay. Now, as far as things go, he does have a gimmick. You can see this little lever sticking out of his right arm. It's not in his left arm, it's only in his right. And you push it and you get a punch. This is his power punch. Aren't you tingling in your shoes? Even if you, point it at the freaking camera, it's still not... It looks like a bad Flash animation where his fist just isn't doing something right. It's just not threatening. I don't get gimmicks like this. Like, if his fist shot off, I can understand. He would actually be, it would be like a rocket punch. But this? What is this? Why? Now, granted, it doesn't get in the way of anything, or it just leaves a lever sticking out of his arm. His articulation isn't any different, really, so it's not like it affects anything. It's just really pointless to me. Oh yeah, and he does actually have light piping, which means if you point him towards a light, his eyes glow. Because, of course, he has clear plastic in the back of the head that's connected to his eyes. Glowing eyes. And even when you don't have him in light, it does work pretty well. He does look dead. Even though you would think that this back here would actually block the light, but no, it actually gets through okay because it's towards the top as well. So he doesn't usually look dead. He does have his accessories that we pull off the back of his car, his ambulance mode. These things. I'm not sure what these are called. I know for the Ironhide reuse of this guy and the Auto Trooper, these were basically more like gauntlets, because of course how they work is, you can see he's had these two tabs coming off that have a little circle in the middle. How they work is you take his hands, and you peg him over the holes on his hands, like this. They kind of just cover over them. And it can be kind of difficult to squeeze him over his hands, but you can see once they're in his hands, you kind of have like a gauntlet kind of effect. And on the box in the show, you would see these are actually painted, they actually have blue on the inside to kind of show there's energy going through them, maybe like some kind of electric attack. But of course, since Ratchet is of course also a medic, you could also pretend he's about to revive somebody, like, clear! Clear! You know, you could, I don't remember what they're called, But yeah, you could pretend they're those since he is a medic, and it does fit him pretty well. And of course, if they are gauntlets, the punch gimmick does work with it, even though the punch gimmick is really stupid. But at least there's a reason for it to exist, because it still works with the accessories. And that is his only accessories, but you know what? I don't mind. There's a whole bunch of accessories that came with the original. Just use those if you really want them. Or, of course, give him the EMP generator. I might just buy some spare parts of Lockdown, just use the EMP generators just for my Ratchets. That'd be pretty nice. I wonder if a third party made one. I'll have to find out. So yeah, we can go into his articulation. Of course, because of transformation, his neck goes back and forth, but we're not really going to count that. His head is ball jointed. Looking forward, he can't go up any further, but he can look down, since he is so tall. And of course, as this ball joint goes left to right. You do have the ball joint at the arm. You get a swivel. And because how he transforms, you have a double elbow. And you do get a swivel at the fist. No waist, but with how it's connected, it probably would be a little complicated to put a waist there. You do got ball jointed legs that go out pretty far. Pretty good, about 90 degrees forward and 90 degrees back. Just swivel. And even though these knees are really tiny, they do work really well. They do have really good friction. And you can get him in a pose with them. Like he's ready to punch you. So yeah, that's one mech you don't want to mess with. And that's animated Cybertron Mode Ratchet. A pretty good little figure. I only got him 2 years ago, about 2 years ago. And I'm really glad I got him. He's not the best in the animated line, but for Deluxe, he's pretty nice. If you can find him, I say go get him, or get the Ironhide recolors. Get one of these guys. Because I'm really glad I got him, but I think he's a really cool figure, and I think he's going to look good next to RC once I get her. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. I hope you enjoy this figure and you get him. And I'm Nerdy Transformed, and I'm out. See you guys later.